Hi, this is Valerie from myrainbowcoalition.blogspot.com. Today's video is a digital scrapbooking process video. We'll be making this layout of my daughter and some of my thoughts about her personality and everything that I think about when I look at her. The first thing that I'm going to do is to open up a new canvas, and that's going to be 12 by 12 and 300 dpi. You'll see there in my photo bin that I already have opened all of the files that I'm going to be using on this layout. So I have them down there in my photo bin just for the ease of not having to dig for files while I'm doing this video. I'm starting this layout from a sketch from simplesketches.blogspot.com. I'm on the design team over there, and so this was one of my assignments. So the first thing that I did was to drag the photo of the sketch up onto my canvas and enlarge it so that it covers my whole canvas. Next, we just made a new layer, and using the rectangle select tool, I selected a rectangle that was the size of each of the photo spots and filled those rectangles in with the paint bucket tool. You'll see me do this several times for all of the rectangular elements on the page, and the one thing to keep in mind is that between every one of those selections and fill with the paint bucket, I am creating a new layer so that each of these will be separate layers, so that it's going to be a template before I discard my photo of my sketch. Now that I've made a clipping mask for each of the rectangular elements on my page, I went ahead and moved the photo of the sketch to the top and reduced the opacity on it so that I could work behind it but still be able to see the sketch overlaid on top of what I was working on. So here I'm adding in some distressing and paint splatters and stencils from the kit that I'm using for this layout. And I'm using 2 copies of that, and to copy it I just used alternate and moused over the layer that I wanted to duplicate. And then using the click tool, it allows you to duplicate it. After the distressing is done, now it's time to bring my paper layers into the template that I've created. So I just turn off the sketch so that I can't see it anymore, because I'm pretty much done with that at this point. And then I mouse over and select the top paper on the right hand side and just drag the paper that I want to clip there from the photo bin onto my canvas. Then holding down the alternate key, I left click between the 2 layers in the layers palette, and that clips it down to my shape. And I'll just repeat that same process for each of the 5 paper spots on this layout. You'll also notice that after I've clipped down each of the papers to their clipping mask, I'm going to merge down the paper to its clipping mask And I'm just doing that to reduce the number of layers in my layers palette because I find it distracting to have a bunch of extra layers. So if I know that that's where I'm going to put it, I'll go ahead and clip it down. Now I'm bringing in a couple of embellishment layers that are going to hang off the side, the left side of the layout. I have a washi tape layer and then a paper banner layer. And I'm using those instead of the tickets that were on the sketch. Then I have a round element that was just a circle on the sketch, but here it's a sticker from the kit I was using. And you saw that I had to move the circle sticker up a little higher in the layers palette just because it was underneath my photo mask, and so I needed to move it up so it was above the photo mask. Next, I have this star sticker border that I put there, and it's gonna go extend under the larger photo, but I wanted to make sure that I didn't have a little piece of one of the stars hanging off, so I went ahead and cut that away, the extra piece of the sticker away. Next, I resized the distressing at the top because I just didn't feel like the layout was balanced. And then I moved on to the pictures. So here I'm clipping down the large photo and then resizing it so it fits onto my photo mat. And then I'll do the same procedure for each of the other two photos on the layout. So now that my pictures are on, I'm going to go ahead and add the background paper. And I really like this grid paper that I have, but it wasn't exactly the right color. It was a little dark for my taste, so all I did was use Control U to bring up my color adjustment, and then I increased the saturation just a little bit and increased the lightness so that it's a more crisp white instead of the gray that it was before. I've typed my journaling ahead of time in Word, and so I'm just cutting and pasting it in here into the layout, and then resizing the text box to make it the size and shape that I want so that my journaling can wrap around my distressing in the background. And then I'll do the same thing for a larger block of text that I put in the bottom left of the layout. So now that I have the journaling in the bottom left exactly where I wanted it, I decided that I had a little bit of trapped white space. So I selected that small portion of the distressing from the background and copied it and then moved the copy up into the white space to fill that up a bit more. Now that that's done, I'm going to add in all of my drop shadows. As you can see, everything here is a paper layer. So I'm just going to select all of my paper layers, then go to the Effects tab. And under the Effects tab, I have a set of Shadow Like Me style sets from One Little Bird Designs, and I used them for my shadows. And so I just chose the paper shadows, and I don't mess with them at all. I leave them exactly as she does them. The title of my page is going to be Your Eyes. So I really don't enjoy working with alphas, so I almost always use fonts instead and just type in my titles. So I really like the Freebruder script, and I'm going to use that for the word eyes. And what I'm going to do is turn down the opacity just a little bit on it so it seems like I stamped the word eyes down over all of the elements there instead of doing some more work with it and turning it into a sticker. And then I'm also going to do the same thing with the your. I will type it in a different font, turn it up on its side, and also turn the opacity of that one down. And you'll see I'll play with the sizes just a little bit until I have them just how I want them. I'm going to take one more look over the page, and I think this is where I'm going to call it done. I hope you've enjoyed coming to see my video today. If you're interested in any of my other projects, come on over to my blog, myrainbowcoalition.blogspot.com. Thanks for watching!